In this video, we start to examine negative exponents. So first here we're told to simplify using the exponent laws and then using expanded form to simplify the following. So we've got x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 7. Now if we use the exponent laws, we know that when we're dividing powers of the same base, we subtract their exponents. So if we have x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 7, well, this would be equal to x to the power of 5 minus 7, which is x to the power of negative 2. If we simplify this using expanded form, then we would have x to the power of 5 over x to the power of 7. Well, in expanded form, this would be x times x times x times x times x, all divided by x times x times x times x times x times x times x. So we could divide out, let's see, we could divide out 5 factors of x. So we could divide out those factors divide out, those factors divide out, and those factors divide out. And what we're left with is, we are left with 2 factors of x in the denominator, and I have that this is equivalent to 1 over x squared. So on one hand, I have that x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 7 is equal to x to the power of negative 2. But on the other hand, I have that x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 7 is equal to 1 over x squared. How can this be? Well, this is because x to the power of negative 2 is equal to 1 over x squared. And in general, by definition, we define x to the power of negative n. We have a negative exponent. X to the power of negative n is equal to 1 over x to the power of n. And of course, we have to provide the restriction that x cannot be equal to 0. Otherwise, we have an expression that is undefined. So x to the power of negative n is just equal to 1 over x to the power of n. So what does that mean? Well, let's see what else we can figure out from this. Well, suppose we have I don't know, like 1 over x to the power of negative n. Well, what's that equal to? And here we'll say that x is a non-zero number. So here x is not equal to 0, because if it were, this would be undefined. So how can we rewrite this? Well, I know that based on the definition of a negative exponent that I've written above, I know that this is equal to that 1 over x to the power of negative n. Well, this would be equal to 1 over x to the power of n, because x to the power of negative n is just 1 over x to the power of n. So what does this mean? If I have x to the power, if I have 1 over 1 divided by x to the n, well, remember that this fraction bar just means division. So this is actually equal to 1 divided by 1 over x to the power of n. Now remember that division by a fraction is the same thing as multiplication by the reciprocal of that fraction. So this would be equal to 1 times x to the power of n over 1. And we don't write x to the power of n over 1 as x to the power of n over 1. We just write it as x to the n. So this is equal to, if we simplify this is equal to x to the power of n. So I have another identity, that 1 over x to the power of minus n, well, that's just equal to x to the power of n. In the next video, we'll look at how to apply these exponent laws to simplify various expressions.